Happy March 30th, 2026, everybody. It's a Monday, and it's going to be Mobility Monday. For those of you that aren't sure what that is, if you're just tuning in from wherever you are, whatever timeline, year, week, month, platform you might be catching this on. Mobility Monday is really just about combining our stretching and flexibility exercises from Sunday stretching into flows and movements that are natural yet necessary for checking in that we might not always be doing on our day-to-day, especially if you are over the age of, I want to say, 15. There's just a lot of movements that we do when we're younger that we just don't do them anymore. Like crawling, for example. Crawling is really common when you're young, even though you know how to walk. A lot of times, people still do things like, I'll show you in a second, but different sorts of scrunching, maybe tucking to get underneath things, crawling through like tunnels or tubes or things like that. So it's not like you're necessarily on your hands and knees for the need to get from point A to point B, but you just end up being in these different scenarios where your body's naturally conforming and moving fluidly through different positions that when you hit adulthood, you just don't find yourself as likely to be in those same situations, which is really unfortunate because, at least for me, if I could find adult gyms, and as I'm saying this, I'm thinking there actually is one in Seattle, for those of you that are in Seattle or can get to Seattle. It's not technically for adults only, I guess. I mean, anytime you see a jungle gym, people automatically assume that that's for kids, which, you want to be respectful and give the kids a priority, but really, I mean, when I see jungle gyms, I always think of a calisthenics park, especially like if you've been to Venice Beach or if you've seen like Muscle Beach movies or things like that. Like a lot of times it's just bars and, monkey bars, different things like that people end up using for resistance and calisthenics training. It can be really fun. And that was like, I was really into that lifestyle, like in my mid-20s. Or was that my mid-20s? When was that? That was my very early 20s, like 21, 22, 23-ish. Just that whole like beach workout culture. And yes, a lot of it had to do with the fact that very attractive males hang out at the calisthenic parks in warm climates. But in this case, the park in Seattle it's next to the Experience Music Project, which I don't even know if that's what it's called anymore. Every person that was born in Seattle will understand what I'm saying when I tell you, like, they will completely dedicate a project or a landmark or something like that to a title or a name or a cause or something like that, and then all of a sudden they'll be like, actually we're gonna call it this now. And then like you grow up calling it one thing, and then one day some random person that's been in Seattle for like 2 years is like, do you mean this? And you're like, sure. So I don't know if that's what it's called anymore, but down by the Space Needle, there's just like a bunch of different like things you can do walking around, and I don't really know how to describe it. I'm sure if you look on like Google Maps or something, you can just do like a satellite search and actually see where this is exactly. But I know it's next to the Experience Music Project, which is like the monorail, near the monorail track for sure. I know you can see the monorail track from this park, but it's pretty big. It's got like a ropes course, kind of like climbing jungle gym thing on it. Pretty sure it's got like that bouncy, hard turf. So instead of grass or like little tiny pebbles of something, it's like the type of turf that you run track on. If you have like a fewer track or nicer tracks. I don't even know what tracks look like anymore. I haven't like interacted with a running track in real life since I was in high school or like college, I guess. I'm just thinking about like this disgusting university track that I had to. Anyway, yeah. Basically, I just feel like today is going to be one of those days where I do a little bit of random movements, getting a little more fluid without thinking about it being very like bop, 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 right? Because usually I'm like very symmetrical. Whatever I do on the left, I want to make sure I do on the right, so I want to make sure I know exactly what it looked like and how far I leaned and what, knee, which angle, all that. But today is going to be kind of more like a, and you'll see as I get there. But just think about if you were growing up or if you're brave enough as an adult to go to a jungle gym, go to a calisthenics park, or just kind of free flow as if nobody's watching you and you already know what you're doing isn't common. Because I'm not saying that you want to go seek out being weird or being, different when you're doing your exercises, but it really is just that natural flow and opening up to what your body moves into and not necessarily thinking like, oh, I want this to look like I'm an expert at XYZ. Think Planet Fitness. For those of you that like memes, a lot of Planet Fitness memes I've seen are people just like literally coming up with the most random things, and they're just making fun of people that like get in there and they don't know what they're doing, and everybody's like, look at this person, and they're like basically like trying to do some crazy stuff on a treadmill or like lift something in a weird way, right? It's supposed to be like funny, but in a lot of cases it really is like people should be free to do what they want in the gym and not have to be judged by whether or not it matches some random person's technique, unless it's like a safety concern, right? And maybe I'd say something like, hey, that strap is gonna snap and hit you in the face and it's gonna really hurt, But other than that, like this, what is this? Is this something people do? I don't know, but this feels like I'm getting a stretch in my wrist, right? I'm getting lower back targeted here, and I'm kind of engaging my quads. I can tell you right now, this is stretching my left side and my knees as I'm doing this. I'm rolling. A couple days ago, I did a knee exercise. It wasn't even supposed to be a knee exercise. It was just supposed to be an exercise to stretch out like my hips, my hip flexors, and I ended up noticing how weak my knee was doing it, just from holding it even and like the pressure and the weight from that. And now my knee is kind of like you know when you like awaken something and it's like, okay, well now that I know that's something I notice, that's kind of what happened with me. It's like my knee doesn't hurt, but it's like now it's kind of like, hey, we should get attention. Or that one, that left one. And again, it doesn't hurt, but it's new. So I have to pay attention. I have awoken a beast here, and I don't want it to turn into something that can become a weakness. So instead of that, I'm going to make sure it turns into something that is a strength. Oh, okay. That was nice. That felt good. Next thing I'm going to do is I have no particular rhyme or reason, like I said, y'all. So if you're wondering why I just went from random circular motions and moving my legs back and forth to being down on my back, I'm trying to kind of alternate areas, give myself a break without actually stopping. Usually I'll just progress through the stage of whatever elevation I'm at, so I'll do all my sitting or all my standing or all my left side, all my right side. In this case,
trying to alleviate my knee, so I'm down on my back. And again, alleviate is, it sounds like something's wrong with my knee. Nothing's wrong with my knee. My knee doesn't hurt. I just noticed when I was doing that exercise just now, I noticed it. It's not something I noticed. It's something that I have to think about. Oh, I went back and watched one of my VODs yesterday, and I noticed that when I'm doing one of my exercises, I feel like my back is completely flat on the ground. I mean, maybe not completely. I can tell that it's like lifted off the ground in my like lumbar region, but it's super fucking off the ground. I did not notice. When it was off the ground, it looked like I wasn't even touching the ground if it wasn't for the fact that my shoulders were clearly resting on something. Because I think like my hair was down or like in ponytails or something, so I couldn't actually see the sides. But it looked like I was like so far away from the ground. So I'm gonna do that again today as well and see if there's anything that I notice about it that I can fix to get closer, because I really did feel like I was closer to the ground. Sometimes you gotta go back and watch your vlogs. I mean, you should probably do that anyway. I'm sure there's some people out there that talk about rewatching your vlogs and learning from your content and things like that, which I do from time to time, but it's been a minute since I did, and I was like, oh, right. So I know I say this often, but I want to make another routine, trying to get some muscle memory and stuff down. April starts this week, and I kind of feel like at this point, life probably isn't going to it'll always benefit me to have some sort of schedule because I have medication. And the medication, in my opinion, from what I noticed, right, obviously there's a lot of other chemical and hormonal things that medication interacts with, but primarily for me it's sleep. And my sleep schedule is not something that I personally can control without having a very, I don't want to say strict, because I don't live that code of like, it's gotta be like this, but like I really have to have a schedule for my sleep in order to just be able to be like, am I actually not sleeping? Is there something off, or is it just, X, Y, Z? But yesterday, was that yesterday? Yeah. Yesterday, the day before yesterday, I talked about this on stream. I stayed up like almost a full day so I could reset my sleep schedule, and I was like exhausted before midnight, took my medication, super excited that I was going to sleep before midnight, which means there's no way I could oversleep until the afternoon, right? And then I ended up waking up at 3 a.m. with a shit ton of energy, and like literally the amount of energy that was in my body was like unreal. And it was like I had a Red Bull in my sleep. That was crazy. So I'm like, okay, great. Like here I was trying to catch up on sleep, and now I'm like alert at 3 a.m. for no reason. And then I ended up staying up until I naturally fell asleep listening to something, which is frustrating because I'm trying not to use my phone when I'm sleeping, especially because like I'll fall asleep when I'm like on a social media app like Instagram, and I don't like to engage with people's content because right now anyway, there's just like a lot of like emotions and things because of everyone's political opinions. And so if I watch someone's content and it's like
something that should be like thought provoking or like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes people will say something and it's like if you don't respond or you don't like it, then you're like kind of like aiding it or like supporting something. And so with everybody's posts, you know, there might be something crazy on someone's story that's like, oh, like I think everyone is like everyone in Seattle should have to friggin' get robbed every Friday or some shit like that. And I watch it and I don't say anything on story. And they're like, well, you saw my story, right? And it's like, I didn't. So I've just kind of been in that situation where I'm like, I just don't want to look at anyone's shit because I don't want people to be like, well, you knew this or you saw this. It's just like, no. And also there's just too many areas to just be like, I don't know. I have a very diverse group of people on my socials and they all have very different opinions about stuff. Yeah. Sometimes I think I'm keeping the peace, but then I think people just assume that I am supporting the side that they don't want to be on. Like always on. It's like nobody's ever like, oh, we're on the same side. It's like, oh, you like that person, which means you're against me. And it's like, okay, but you know, that's how wars start. You know, it's okay to disagree with someone and not hate them and want to harm them. I mean, granted, if the other side's reason for you not liking it is that they want to hurt other people, I get it, like somebody's gotta stop that, but you can't create war because of disagreement, or you shouldn't, right? Like it's okay to not agree with someone and still not want to also kill them. Strange, I know. Yeah, and even the whole idea of sides, it's like, what is a side anymore? I think there's just right and wrong, good and bad, that's pretty much it. But it is interesting to watch, we'll say people that were very heavily MAGA Trump supporters, because it's not so much, like people say like, oh, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm a whatever, but it's the ideas and concepts that I always thought people were holding stead true to. Like in my mind, I'm thinking like Trump is crazy, he's clearly like, you know, doing different things, but in reality, and I'm not gonna lie, in reality, a lot of the Trump people were, you know, this is based off of the media, they were saying, hey, get this Epstein list out. We need to have, you know, like, especially for people like me who are working with youth and have these experiences and know how easy it is to take down criminals that are doing these things online. It's like, this is easy. This is the easy one. We can get these people. So when the MAGA people are talking about that, they're like, yeah, that's funny stuff. Yeah, somebody's actually getting to the fucking nuts and bolts of this shit. Like, shut it down, you know? And then all of a sudden, now they don't care and they want to support him. It's like, so you had never had any sort of like allegiance to what was right or wrong. That was literally just you fanboying over a specific individual. Like that's what it's looking like, right? And again, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, what are you actually getting out of this? Because if planet Earth blows up, if you live in the United States and you're like, oh well, you know, I really like Trump and I really like the idea of being like the superior person in this whole situation because people think I have money or I'm connected to oil and I'm gonna have like more because of the war or something like that. Like, not if you blow up. You know, what's the point of having money that doesn't have value because we've fucking the US dollar is insignificant. Right? But again, there's always those people that have like the loopholes and things that we never really know for sure, like who's doing insider trading and all that stuff. Well, it's just like, come on, people. Again, it reminds me of the DJ situation and the music situation. Everybody wants to be the DJ, but nobody seems to care that everybody's standing still. I could not be a DJ for people that don't want to be there. And it's like, you can't tell me you want to be there and then physically show me you know. Like similar to that. Nonetheless, the new Kanye West album has come out. I haven't listened to it yet. I haven't been engaging with Kanye West in quite a while. And Kanye West is one of those celebrities, just like anybody else. I'm never going to agree with everything someone says. Like, if you agree with every word that comes out of someone's mouth, you should really evaluate whether or not you're being controlled in some other fashion. Honestly, difference of opinions and thoughts are important for growth. We cannot expand and get better without new ideas and people and concepts, and when someone notices or has an inference into something that we don't have, we allow that person to be wrong but still heard, because again, you have insider knowledge to things. You are not a rich and famous celebrity that is being controlled by people who are making more money than the celebrity off of the effort and the work of the person that's creating the product. Period. You don't get to come in and say, well, Kanye West got an attitude, and I don't think he's a good dad because of what I saw on a social media post from Kim Kardashian. It's like, on what grounds do you think your opinion should have any way to be heard over the fact of all of these things, right? Like, and again, it's not like, one person's better than another, but if you've never been in any of those situations, and you don't, it's like somebody that's literally in these situations that none of us have been billionaire status, bro, like, and we're like, you're an idiot. And again, just because someone has money doesn't mean that they're smart. But if you look at how someone grew, where they came from, their experiences, all of this stuff, and you realize, hey, he was one of us. He did this, he did that, he came through the ropes. And now he's getting mad or trying to voice something that has a big impact on a lot of people. The industry is not just about celebrities, it's a way we can control the actual world with music, mind, media, all of that. So someone who has done all the fucking work that everybody, and I will say everybody knows, has some inkling into what they're doing. To just be like, I'm going to discredit you and your opinion doesn't matter and everybody's going to hate you. It's like, that is part of systematic control. And I felt really bad when I saw that letter that was released under Kanye's name. Because I know that it's really hard to pretend like nothing's wrong when you are a victim of something that can hurt many other people. Because it's like, you seem like you're being selfish, right? I want this, and but it's like, these impact future generations, future artists, and everybody watch Kanye West try to stand up for things that impact all of us. And they decided to say that he was racist, and therefore illegal activities and treatment was okay. Now again, even if he was 100% racist, which he's obviously not, why aren't all the other racists being treated the same way? And if you are in fact a racist, why is racism worse than killing babies? Riddle me that. It's just, people don't use their logic. They just want to be able to say, like, this person isn't as good as you think they are. And somehow, in their mind, that makes them feel like a better person, that they can tear someone down or attempt to. For whatever reason, people that are not on your level always think that, like, their words are going to get to you. I always think of that when people, like, are
in a crowd, right? Like they can throw something down at you. But when you're like, and I'm not saying this in like a pompous way, but like you're above someone and they try to throw something at you, like that shit's gonna just fall back down onto them. And that's how I feel about these things. It's like, yeah, now we get to watch as all these fucking Epstein file people carry on about their life, nothing happens to them. And we know how Kanye West was treated. And then people are just like, pretend like he's still just the worst person ever, right? He's still the worst person. Is he still the top of the list, y'all? But yeah, so I saw that letter, and just knowing, like I said, I'm not saying that he has never done anything wrong. I'm not saying that some of the mental disabilities are perfect and they're like these angel babies that have only the right things to say. Obviously, he said some shit that was fucked up, but I don't believe that you can be a literal victim in such a broad fucking manner and then just turn around and be like, everything is my fault and I'm so sorry. Like, come on, you guys. It's so fucking sad. It's sick. And it's like these psyops of people feeling like they are in power because they got to down somebody above them by shaming them for their opinion of one, like one area of a subject where you literally are so fucking mad, you're just trying to get attention so someone can tell you're still in there. So I hope Kanye West is still alive, and I'm really scared to listen to the album. Just gonna do front, side, front, side. You know what's funny as I'm thinking about Kanye West too? I almost feel like, hey, you guys, we already know we can do these things to other people because we did them to Kanye West. So why don't we just do that? Well, that's an easy fix, right? Like literally just do everything you did to Kanye West to everyone that's already been identified on the Epstein list. Just do that. Like we've already socially accepted that that's okay, right? Like y'all were literally cheering for that and still are in a lot of cases. So like, let's just do that. No, you don't have the passion. You don't have the passion for fucking murder and fucking child sacrifices and slavery and literal just killing of people for fucking out of boredom because their brains can't figure out another way to be entertained and create anything. Like, imagine being so uncreative that you have to use other people's creativity to say that you're creative. Yikes. That's gotta be a hard one. Mentally. You'll never feel fooled because you're literally just lying to yourself. But there's people out there like, I mean, it's all about the money. They want to look like their internals are so great. Maybe I'll make a tweet about that if I can remember. Honestly. Bro, we already got a Kanye playbook. Let's just run it on all these Epstein motherfuckers. What's the problem? We know we can do it, right? It's not hard. Or what that Pam Bondi saying, like, the reason why we can't go after these people is because it's everybody in the system, and there's not going to be anything to uphold the law to even do it. feels very nice. Yeah, I'm like fully off the mat though.
Did I do this one on the other side, or is this side just that much tighter? Because it's like, man, I feel like I can do this over and over again. Like just sitting like this feels so good right now. Oh, it literally feels so nice. Just like stretch in like the, oh, I don't know how to describe it. And these are the parts of the stream where I'm like, fuck, I'm on camera and I don't want to look weird or move or sound funny, but like, I could sit like this and make some noises. I could.
Switch sides again just to make sure
That I did in fact get on the side. I don't think I did. Mobility Mondays, I try to do 10 to 20 reps of whatever it is I'm doing. I don't always count because I just try to talk and make it sound more entertaining, and then I forget to even pay attention to what number I'm on. Oh. So my rock stepper thing is going good. I'm getting over the hump of like the initial burning sensation, which is nice. It's also really helping with stabilizing, muscle stabilizing, and just overall. I noticed that. I think it'll help me with also aligning my hips better, but it's definitely a micro development. Like I can feel, like, you know, when you're doing something that's like not hard, but you're just not used to it. It's like your body kind of like wobbles and like shakes. Like I'm still doing that with the rock stepper when I try to go slow. I can't really go slow at all right now. Slow is very hard. I get like maybe 3 inches, 4 inches, and I literally fall all the way to the side. I can't like slay without like wobbling. So that's gonna be a control thing that I'll be working on with it. Haven't noticed any of my little dent over here, my cellulite. What do you call it when you only have one dimple? Hopefully it doesn't have a name. But yeah. We'll call her Betty. Betty, this will be Betty. Betty the dent. Betty's still there, so we'll see. I name random things on my body that are new. Like when I got my very first chest hair, I named it Henry. And yeah, just an exciting time in my life. So Betty is still there. I haven't noticed any difference. It's not even been 2 weeks of having it. I'm not sweating when I'm doing it. A lot of times I will wear like a long sleeve or maybe even something like this. Sweater. Not super thick. About halfway through, like 2 minutes in, I have to completely take whatever I have on off and just be in like literally like a sports bra or like a tank top or something. And like I said, I'm only doing it for 5 minutes right now a day, or in increments, 5-minute increments. So after about 2 minutes, I get to the heat level of getting to, not have any layers on, and then I'll say maybe like 5 to 10 minutes cool down after before I'm like, okay, I wanna put my shirt back on or something like that. So yeah, I definitely am glad I have it. Also, you know, I was thinking about going to the gym, and I was talking about like having a stationary bike and how I would use it when I very first moved out of like whatever. But you can turn a regular bike into a stationary bike pretty easy. I'm not exactly sure how to do it, but I know that there's just like something you can buy, like a stand or something like that, where your bike is basically just propped up, so that when you are pedaling, you're moving, but you're stationary. And then that'll give me an indoor bike and an indoor elliptical, if you will. So there's that. Because right now I have my electric bike indoors with me here, not in my storage unit. So really easy for me to just do that. And it's in a closet. Because y'all know, if you've been following me on my journey here. What is this? Is this a good look? Yeah, it folds up and it fits in like literally a standard closet, which I don't know what a standard closet is in America, to be completely honest, but it feels like a coat closet. Like if you have a coat closet in your house, usually it's got to be deep enough to like go from shoulders to shoulders, so 30 inches. No clue how long the average coat closet would be or should be considered, but it's gotta be long enough for hangers, right? It's not any bigger than that. I have a couple of closets. This place actually has a lot of closets. I'm very grateful for that. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 closets. No, 1, 2, 3, 1. I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 closets. 6 closets. So, but they're not like all giant closets. That is my smallest closet. Second smallest closet. The other one technically is a pantry. Or I use it as a pantry. But yeah, so pretty convenient. I didn't really think about it that way when I first bought it. I really was just thinking, I want to be able to take it with me when I drive and not have to worry about it sitting on the outside of my car on one of those bike racks, because it is electric. You know, it's less likely to get stolen if it's on the inside of my car than the outside of my car. Ooh. But now that I can just like put it in a random closet in my house, it's like a whole nother side. The compact ness that I didn't realize I would enjoy. So anyway, what's been going on with my sleep schedule, you're wondering? Last night I went to sleep and did I go to sleep last night? No, actually I didn't go to sleep last night. So I slept when I got off the stream, went back to my room, and I was so tired. I didn't know I was gonna go to sleep, so I was just like, I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just gonna get under the blankets and try to go to sleep. And so I literally like laid under the blankets, and I like was sleepy, like sleep, but not sleeping for like 2 hours. So that was weird. Because again, I was like exhausted, physically felt sleepy, but still didn't fall asleep. Too tired to actually do anything else either, right? Let me whatever. I will say that my neighborhood is so stinking cute. I freaking love West Seattle, but like this particular part of my neighborhood, like West Seattle in general, is just so freaking cute. Like, especially when the weather's nice, you can just ride around on your bike, and people are literally just like out with their dogs and their families, and like it's safe. And all the houses are different. They're like small and big, and there's views and there's parks, and like literally, like I'm so happy with Seattle and when the weather's nice. So I'm kind of like, I can't wait till it gets warm enough to just be able to like walk around this area and like explore it. It's like I said, like I lived in West Seattle. Even I went to elementary school in West Seattle. Lived in West Seattle as a child and all of that, but there's just always something new to discover. And it does not have to be new construction. There's not any new construction really here in West Seattle. Like we even have our own little like vintage movie theater, which is like if you don't know what Seattle's like, if you've never been to Seattle, or if you are familiar with Seattle, like central area, like downtown areas, like all Seattle has different names. Like Belltown is for like, well, I won't even get into my opinion of what each category of things are, but like you can definitely tell like each part of Seattle, specifically like the address of Seattle, has like a different culture. Like there's like a lot of like tech bro people in like the South Lake Union area. It's like more construction. Newer. So if you come to Seattle for the first time and you're visiting someone that lives in South Lake Union, you might not even ever experience a different part of Seattle like West Seattle, because you can literally just get caught up in just one area. I mean, depending on how long you're in Seattle for, and just completely think this is what Seattle is. This is what the city is, right? But it really is like these pockets of Seattle that have their own individual cultures. And I wouldn't say it's by demographic of like age even. And I don't know what separates people into each category, but there's gotta be something. I should investigate that. What types of people live in South Lake Union compared to Belltown, or compared to Capitol Hill, or compared to Madrona, or compared to, whatever, right? Like, because there's no houses in South Lake Union. It's like apartments, like high rises, right? Like the city people, like the real city people. And it's like you have to have a certain mindset to be in the city, I think. You should. Because the city is like, even just having an animal, you can't just, like, can I just let my dog out and not think about it? You can't even do that in the city. You have to be like, alright, let's go down the elevator, dog, and get to the patch of grass that's available to you in the next hour. Otherwise, you're gonna miss your window of opportunity, right? And that's just like the way that you live your life, and you plan it, and you don't even think about it anymore. Right? So, West Seattle is very much like, in my opinion, it reminds me of like, it's like a beach burb. I call it the beach burbs. Like, we're literally the suburbs of Seattle, but like on the beach. And it's very like cottagey. We have like a lot of bungalows here. I mean, don't get me wrong, because we're on the beach, there are fucking mansions. Like, people have some nice ass properties over here. Like, real millionaire status. Like, the types of houses that should be on HGTV, but nobody even wants you to know where those neighborhoods are because we don't want you stealing type shit. Like, and I'll just be riding my bike along and I'll come across this, like, fucking millionaire neighborhood, and I'm like, how did I was so cool. Like just like Halloween Town for real. But like mansions, right? Like people love Halloween decorations. People love Christmas decorations. Like that shit's cool, regardless. But when they're mansions, and it's not just like one mansion or two mansions, but like a neighborhood of mansions, and like you know you're safe and you can walk around and like stroll in the street and not get hit by a car because there's not even any cars driving around and stuff like that. Like
I need some space, please. Please. Okay.
let's do. Ooh, I might want to save these ones for Thursday. Oh, did you hear that? See what I mean? A rotate. She's literally just like camera ready. I gotta fix my plants today. I have like a bunch of jade, and I've literally had these jade plants for like 10 years. I don't know how they're still alive. I have a lot of plants that like I've given no attention to and they've lived forever, and then other plants that I spend so much time on that are always like barely hanging on. And these ones, I don't know what happened. Like I said, I don't study like foliage or anything like that, but they literally got like this white fungus inside like the soil. And so my dumbass is like, that's weird. Let me pour some vinegar on it. No idea why. No idea why. Turned into mold. It's literally mold. And I don't know if it's toxic. And it's been like this for at least 2 weeks now. Well, I poured the vinegar on it last week. I noticed the white fungus. I also have like mushrooms growing in a couple of the little planter. Like, it's either that one or this one. I don't know. I'm like, is that a thing? Is that safe? What caused a mushroom to start growing? Oh, I have to look at it, but I know I should. Just to make sure I'm not like slowly poisoning myself around home. But yeah, I really need to do that today because as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, it actually is mold in the soil, and I don't want to like throw them out. My planter is like a really cool like stacked like one of those tri-fold planters, so like they're all connected, but you can like change the shape, and it's like different levels. It's black and gold, and I don't know. I don't want to leave my house, but I might have to go get little planted containers for them, and then use that as a buffer in the planter. I'm like trying to figure this out in my head as I'm wrapping up string. Alright. These ones are the final rotation. So this is the one I was saying earlier. When I come all the way back, I'll do it in just a second. So forward is a sketch,
did this for a very long time for the last couple days, so don't just move into this one quickly if it's not something that you have a lot of range in already. And then coming back, this is what I was noticing. So, how far off the ground am I? Like, in the video that I saw, I was so off the ground, it didn't even look like I was touching the ground. Like, both of my shoulder blades are on the ground. Like, I know it's not possible for my back to be completely flat, because if I'm like this, then my hip can actually come down, right? And my back is still not completely off the ground because I have an actual ass, and that would be physically impossible for my ass to just completely disperse to the point where like my lower back can hit the ground. Which I found out after being told that I needed to have my back flat by a Japanese lady. She's like, oh, your back needs to be flat. And she's like, thankfully a real human, right? So she's sitting there like showing me what to do. Like putting her hand behind my back and stuff, and she's like, you know, then you could tell it like clicked for her too. And she's like, oh, actually, I don't think you're ever going to be able to get your back completely flat. Thank you for noticing. I really am trying. Like, if it's possible, it's possible. If it's not possible, I would like to know. But this is like really far off the ground. How many did I do? I would do at least 10 on each side. We'll say that was 7. 8. I'm so grateful I grew up in Seattle though. I don't know why, I've been thinking about Madrona right now. If you're from Seattle, or if you live in Seattle, if you've heard of Seattle enough to know what the Madrona area is. It's like the other side of Capitol Hill. So where I am right now is a tiny bit of water that comes off of the Sound. Just like these little straits that are in between like the city and Canada before you hit the ocean and things like that. And so this is Washington, and this is the area where there's water, and somewhere right here is where I live, and there's the water. So this is me, water, city, water, which is a lake, but it's water, right? So I technically live on a hill, but obviously you get to the water, you're not on a hill. Take the water taxi over to the city. Now you're on the bottom of the hill. You get to the top of the hill. You can see everything, right? If you're like in a building or whatever. And then on the other side of that hill, just keep going down. There's a street called Madison. You just keep going down this street. You'll eventually hit water again. And it's like you can't fail. In my life, I've been so lucky that in most cases, if you just keep straight, you'll hit the water. And so I'm thinking about how when I was younger, there was this like random staircase that I found in Madrona area, because that's where I spent most of my childhood. Even though I didn't actually live physically in Madrona, my grandmother, her home was there, and she had like a lot of like I have like a lot of cousins and stuff like that, so I'm just kind of like was always over there. But it's like Narnia, and I've never even seen that movie, so I don't know what it actually looks like. But it's like you just like walk and you're like, oh, like there's this cool new like little beach, you know, and that's just life, and it never ends. The Seattle real place. Come on, little man, I just need to like, I mean. She's trying to find a piece of skin that she can put Cole's nose on to make me jump. Well, this didn't turn into the weird rotating child movement stream that I thought it was, but because I'm on the subject and I always like to do my final mobility routine at the end of the stream, I'm going to do a couple of those movements just to give you an idea of what I was talking about, because there are, you know, some organic flows that you can just come up with on your own. Like, let's say I came up all the way through, dip, up, dip, here, right? That's very manual, very up and down, left, right? Or I could be like, not necessarily is that what I was doing before, no. But you get the idea. I'm still moving side to side. I'm not giving it as much of a structure and rigidity as a lot of workout routines look like. So just to give you an idea of what I was talking about, I will not be able to talk and do those at the same time. Even just doing just that little bit, which was like, what, 30 seconds? I'm already like winded. And that's the difference between like the organic movements and the robotic movements. Your body really has to like oh. Great. I'm not gonna do it on camera right now. If you've ever been on a cruise, they do like this song. It's not a cruise specific song, but it's a cruise type of song. Like people, it's common on cruises. And it's the follow the leader song. And it's like follow the leader, follow the leader. I don't know why, I just pictured in my head there being a workout class and that song coming on, and then somebody doing like some random shit, and then everybody else having to do that same random shit, and then the next person. That'd be really cool actually, because usually it's just somebody just like starting a conga line basically. Conga lines are fired up. Okay. Final mobility flow of the day. I'm gonna do 10 of these buddies. And these ones have been easier for me to do every time. It took me a minute to get a new flow in. I added
added the standing up portion after I moved into this place, which is giving me a chance to engage my toes a bit more and my hips, obviously fully engaging when you stand up. Over here. How many was that? I'll just say it was 2. I almost got confused there. I don't think I'm gonna leave my house today though. I want to and I don't at the same time. I just don't like being predictable. I feel like I always leave on Mondays. Am I doing this right? I'm like not paying attention. I feel like I skipped something on that last one. I'm like literally just kind of doing whatever for a second there. Naturally wanted to go into child's pose, which I think was my body's way of saying stream is over. It's already past 4. Anyway, didn't fully turn out the way I wanted it to, but it did. I feel like I was moving the whole time, so hopefully you got something out of today's stream. Like I said, just mobility in general, on top of practicing your stretching, flexibility. It's gonna be healthy for you. You can't hear my hips popping and doing all of this stuff, then it might be the music, but if you can hear it, then I've talked about yogi pops and things, and those are good signs. It's kind of like putting the WD-40 on some shit, you got a little squeak. It lets you know that there's movement, but you also kind of have to know that that squeak is coming from intention. Something's going on there that's asking for attention. So the fact that I have a squeak lets me know that I've got movement. And like I said, it's feeling nice to do these movements, although it does feel like tight. That's, I guess the best way to describe it. I like that sneeze, like it tickles, it itches, it's kind of like an irritating in a way, but not like, and then you sneeze and you're like, oh, I'm at that level when I feel those hip pops and when I do those hip exercises and things like that. So hopefully you are there as well or further along. If you're not, let this be inspiration and motivation to you that you will get there, because we know for sure I am not a flexible person, okay? I don't want anybody to ever fool you into thinking that just because someone is short and has a more athletic build that they just get things naturally. That's not the case. Like, I literally do physical activity every fucking day. Okay? And I also don't eat very much. So I know, like, people are like, oh, you're skinny because you're just, it's genetics. Like, no, like, and I'm not telling people to be anorexic or starve themselves, but, like, realistically, like, if people are talking about, like, eating, like, going out to eat at restaurants, like, lunch and dinner, and never working out or going to the gym, even. It's like, mathematically, you are consuming so much. And again, I don't promote starving yourself or anorexia or anything. I just don't want people to give me shit. Like, I don't work for anything I have. Like, I will tell you the truth. Yeah, I might be skinnier because I don't fucking eat, y'all. Like, I just don't. And like I said, it's not like an anorexic thing. I don't go out to eat. I make everything at home. And it's intentional. But everyone's got their own thing. Pay attention to your habits and move accordingly. If something doesn't add up, consider where you can make changes. I'll see y'all on Thursday.